Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bold Breakthroughs with Business Experts. Today, I have a great expert on here that is going to really talk to you guys and help you guys with connection with the parents, with the teenagers, and children. So I'm Catherine Clayton, and I help professional entrepreneurs launch their own business, make their own money, and have their own time freedom. You know, I realized when I was going down this journey of corporate America that too many driven women in professions actually really are sitting around making a ton of people money. They're making their boss money, they're making, their side partner money, and they're not getting it for themselves. So I help people, whether you're in corporate or whether you're out of corporate and starting your own business or right in the throes of business, I help you build that business and start making money fast. So my expert today is Dawnese Openshow, and I'm just going to let her jump on here, tell us a little bit about what she does and who she helps. And welcome, Dawnese.
Thank you, Catherine Ann. I'm so excited to be here with you and those who are watching. I am a relationship coach, particularly family relationships, and my primary focus is helping parents with challenging teenagers. So I've had a little experience and wanted to just take my coaching experience that I had and my family experience and marry that together so that I could help families. I do believe that when our things are going more smoothly at home, whether that's with marriage, partnerships, children, etc., that we're more productive in our business and also in our corporate environment because things are more smooth and harmonious at home, and so it allows us to focus on the work that we want to do. And so it's a great opportunity for me to just get in with families and figure out what's going well for the parents. And sometimes I have the opportunity to interview the kids, particularly the teenagers. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, so what's going on with you? Like, they'll open up to me more than they will their parents.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, when I was coaching with one of my coaches about 6 months ago, we were having a difficult time with my son about not doing work, and he got on with my coach and did a session. He took one of my sessions, but he got on and did a session. So I know the power of what you do, Dawnese, and I know how you can really change a family dynamic. So tell me how COVID has affected your business and really helping, not so much your business, but how you help other people. Because, today was our first day of school. I had one that started school, one that doesn't start until September, one sleeping, one up and angry because she's up having to work. So kind of tell me how you work with a parents or two parents in this COVID area.
Well, it's definitely unique because we're getting a lot of together time. And so that's good. And it's also challenging, right? There's just so many challenges that come with it, balancing like working and helping our children where, for moms, we're typically moms, we're wearing so many different hats. We always do, but even more now because we're teachers and not by choice necessarily.
Right.
So some are going back to school in person. Some across the country and world are going back in a hybrid program, online and otherwise, some online and some in person, and some are just having to stay home. So I live in California and we're home. School is distance learning. And so it's figuring out how to balance all of that with being mom and entrepreneur and teacher.
Right,
and I have a teaching degree, but I did never sign up to homeschool.
Yeah, me too. And I have a teaching degree as well. And I'm like, oh, when this happened last, at the end of the year, I was like, oh, I don't want to homeschool. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And there's a reason school was invented, and it's to give us a break.
Amen.
So talk to me a little bit about, I heard you say the word be productive. Okay, so what would that look like in a family dynamic between a child and an adult? We usually think, when we think productivity, we think of adults getting busy in their work or getting their housework done or whatever. How do you integrate that with the child?
Oh, I love that question. Thank you for thinking of that. So, how you look at it, right? If they're at school, the teacher usually measures that productivity, right? Or when they come home, we see a little bit of that in terms of chores they might have, or sports or music activities, extracurriculars that they do. If we're in an environment right now where they're home all the time, we have a unique opportunity as parents to model, first of all, model for them. How are we creating our boundaries for our work and our home? How are we creating and inventing, being creative in the space that we're using physically? And then emotionally, mentally, if I'm doing a business meeting, my child can't just run in and like interrupt. I need to make sure that they're being productive at the same time that I'm trying to be productive.
Absolutely.
So we create a space, right? A physical space for our one daughter who is at home. She's 15. We have 2 college students, and then our 15-year-old. So we create the physical space for her for school, and I have my own space. We have our boundaries. We communicate when you definitely can't be interrupted during something going on. And then we check the productivity. So, instead of me harping on her, like, you need to make sure you're staying focused. You need to make sure you're doing your work. Why aren't you doing this right now? I give her the confidence and freedom to go into her classes, do her productivity time, and then I check back with her, right? I check back, and so I call it inspect what you expect.
Wow.
And that goes for children, that goes for, employees, staff, team, ourselves. But just to go in and say, okay, so how did that assignment go? Or how did this chore work out for you? And let's check it out. Let's inspect it. And I don't like point out all the things. I just say, so how do you feel? How do you feel about your productivity for the day? And let her report in. And then I say, can I share with you something I noticed? So as parents, you may notice this, like our first instinct, especially as moms, is like, well, you didn't do this and you should have done it this way, and it would be better if you did it this way. Like, right? We want to fix. Yeah. We want to fix, we want to solve, we want to teach and instruct because it's kind of our job. The hardest thing, and one of the best lessons, Catherine Ann, for parents to learn, especially right now where emotions are high and still we have a lot of uncertainty going on around our world, our own little world, as well as the big world. But really allowing freedom for them to choose more and to give them opportunity to talk more with you and you listen more.
Right. It's that's been hard for me because I think it's a delicate balance. My husband and I both are home, but we've been home together for 2 years. We don't work together, but in the physical space, I could throw a rock and hit him right now and knock him out if I wanted to. But so we've had to even find that balance of productivity. If I'm on a call versus when he's got to be on a call, he'll turn around and go, are you going to go live? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Do you have a coaching call? Because he's like, I got to get on this call and I need my computer. So I think the productivity goes up. I love what you said about you give them the freedom to really make the choices to do the right thing. And I think that that's hard. I was a teacher as well. And it's funny that I personally, I don't know about you, I could do it in the classroom with somebody else's kid, but then I would come home and harp on mine.
Yeah.
And, we want to bring up independent thinkers. We want to balance that out so that they can go and do whatever they want to do. So, and I don't know if you have this problem, but I know the audience does. How do you balance them getting online with the games and the getting on Google and the this and that? And because I'll be honest, I haven't put any restrictions on. We kind of feel like, and you may call me back after this and go, this is wrong. We kind of feel like that we give them enough rope, and when they hang themselves, then we put the law down. And so far, cross our fingers, they've done pretty good. But how do you balance that? They want to, for my son, for instance, he wants to go and play video games instead of doing his work. So then he'll kind of half his work and then go play video games. How do you balance letting go and letting them do that? Do you have a solution for that?
So it's different, right, for every child and every parent situation. Some kids are better at managing their own time than others. For me, like my daughter has executive function challenges, so we set timers for different things, and we expect certain time to go into certain things. Doesn't always work, but it's kind of one of the expectations versus that quick, just get it done, right?
Right.
So I always suggest that parents really look at what's working well for their child. What is working well? How can you encourage them to do more of that? Right? It's just like when we look at a child who wants attention, if they're acting out and behaving poorly, we have to stop looking at the behavior and look what's behind the behavior.
Oh, I like
Same,
that.
yeah, same thing with activities that our children are choosing to do. If they're choosing to go hang out with their friends, even in COVID, or they're choosing to spend more screen time, there's typically an innate, like something, a need that they are needing to fill. And so sometimes they're connecting with friends, right, when they play their games online.
Right. That's what my son does.
Yeah, sometimes they're escaping reality. Sometimes
Right.
they're putting off, procrastinating something else they need to do. And so it's really, as a parent, it's about getting curious. I would call it leading with curiosity. So really figuring out what is driving them to do that activity.
Awesome.
And then
Awesome.
yeah, and then it's also trying to find other activities that meet that same need. So maybe it's, going out on a bike ride or playing games as a family so they get more of that connection time.
Oh, I love that. We're going to start doing
Yeah.
that. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So I heard you mentioned earlier to me about you have a program. You have and what was it called? I'm just going to let you take it over because I forgot the name.
So I have a coach on call program, if that's what you're referring to. So for parents to learn more about, this kind of thing, creating connection with their children. And what my goal is for families is to help create relationships with your child, particularly teenager, that last. So that when they move off to college, that you're having communication with them still. They're not calling every day, Mom, like, tell me what to do with my life, because you've given them freedom and flexibility when they've been home. And yet they're checking in occasionally and letting you know how they're doing.
Oh, wow. That sounds really awesome.
Yeah.
And so that kind of leads us to, maybe a freebie that we might have. I love my experts to give freebie, and I say this every show. If you're out there in the audience, you guys need to connect with Dawnese. You need to get her. I think, do you have a freebie? Let me just ask you that.
So I do, and I'm still, I will have that up on my website, which is thegroundedparent.com.
Okay, we'll put that in we'll make it easy. We'll put it in the comments of this. And that people can reach out to you and talk to you about the program. And on the website, will they be able to get more information about what you do?
Yes, absolutely. And how to work with me if they would like to. Yes.
Oh, awesome.
So
awesome.
it's really about building that connection and a connection with their children, so that it's a relationship that lasts and that they enjoy each other a little bit more. And I specialize, particularly with those challenging kids that aren't connecting with their parents. And so the best thing is to figure out how to move the needle for your family situation.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And I also have a freebie this week. My freebie is the 5-step formula to closing more sales without being salesy. And I'll pop that in the comments. We do that, Dawnese, just to make it easy for the audience.
Absolutely.
Plus we have to, argue with or get along with the Facebook algorithm. So we do that when it posts, in a few minutes after it loads up on the computer, we can go in there and you can post that link in there. So I just wanted to thank you so much for being my guest today. You've got a wealth of information, some things that I'm going to take back for sure, and I'm sure my audience will. And I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in to Bold Breakthroughs with Business Experts. And we will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine Ann.